That's a threat, by the way. That's the threat to William. That's the threat to Charles. That's the threat to Catherine. That's the threat to the British royal family. But wake up, Prince Harry, because that's the threat to you too. Okay? She has been taking notes methodically about your marriage for years.
Meghan Markle's close friends are now claiming she secretly recorded voice notes for a private autobiography over several years, even during her time inside the British royal family. According to the reports, she allegedly saved personal thoughts, memories, and behind-the-scenes details straight onto her iPhone using voice memos. And now people are saying the project could seriously shake up the royal family if it ever gets released. And the name getting dragged into the middle of all this? Oprah Winfrey. Yep, reports are linking Oprah to the entire situation. And critics online are already bringing up that explosive interview again. Some people still call that conversation a tissue of lies interview, while others believe it completely changed public opinion forever. Either way, the drama around it still hasn't cooled off. What makes this even crazier is where this information is coming from. The Daily Mail is now running a massive story that basically builds off years of its own reporting about Meghan and Harry. That's why so many people are shocked by how aggressive this latest coverage has become. Even longtime royal watchers didn't expect this angle to explode the way it has. And this all connects back to last week, when Alison Boshoff, the Daily Mail's editor-at-large, claimed Meghan's reputation in Hollywood has taken a major hit. Boshoff reportedly said several powerful celebrity circles have quietly distanced themselves from Meghan, including people connected to Netflix and major entertainment insiders. The reports even mentioned Nicola Avant, Ted Sarandos's wife, after Meghan was seen close to her at the Beef premiere. Boshoff didn't exactly soften the claims either. Her sourcing inside Hollywood and Netflix is reportedly extremely strong, and the article painted a picture of Meghan struggling to win over elite celebrity circles. Names like Anna Wintour, Lauren Sanchez, and even the Kardashians were dragged into the conversation as rumors swirled about growing frustration behind the scenes. But instead of backing the tougher reporting, the spotlight suddenly shifted to Dominique Hines. She's been known in the UK entertainment media scene for years as a more unconventional showbiz reporter. Some critics question parts of her reporting style, and now people online are debating why she was chosen for this particular story. Many are pointing out that the article heavily leaned into themes of race and celebrity loyalty, framing Meghan and Harry as still having major support from powerful Black Hollywood figures like Oprah Winfrey and Shonda Rhimes. According to the piece, the message was clear. Meghan Markle supposedly still has influential allies standing behind her despite all the backlash. The article pushed the idea that major entertainment names are continuing to support her publicly and privately, even while criticism around her Hollywood image keeps growing. But buried inside all of that was the detail that really grabbed attention: Meghan's rumored autobiography. Reports claim this book project is considered one of the biggest prizes in media right now, with discussions allegedly happening around turning the rollout into a huge cross-platform event tied to Netflix. Nicola Avant's name was also mentioned in connection to those talks, with reports suggesting conversations were happening behind the scenes about combining the book launch with a major streaming project. That's the part that has people seriously talking, because if those discussions are real, it could mean long-term planning has been happening quietly for years. And naturally, royal watchers are already wondering how Prince Harry feels about all of this speculation.
His life is going to be forever changed once he decides to do what he wants to do. And I know that is to no longer stay in California and to have his life back. And the minute he takes that step, that's when the threat, that's when the risk to his own life and that of his own family, the reputation becomes at stake, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Meghan has been documenting for years.
Online reactions have exploded, with some people claiming he may not even know the full scale of what's allegedly being planned behind closed doors. The article itself was packed with dramatic claims, but it also gave a rare glimpse into what critics believe Meghan's long-term strategy could be. Some commentators argue the autobiography could become a massive moneymaker and a headline machine at the same time, especially if it includes personal stories from royal life, Hollywood fallout, and everything in between. And the opening of the article came in swinging hard. It reportedly began with the line, "Meghan Markle is out of the Met Gala, out of favor in Hollywood, out of momentum." That, at least, is the current narrative. Right away, you could tell this wasn't going to be a soft celebrity profile. The tone was sharp, dramatic, and built to spark controversy from the very first sentence. Now this is where the article starts getting really wild, because the writer suddenly pushes back against the very narrative their own newspaper helped create. The piece basically says, that's just the public narrative, before arguing that the reality behind Meghan Markle's situation is supposedly much more strategic and carefully managed. That contradiction alone had a lot of readers raising eyebrows. The article goes on to claim that while Meghan may not be dominating red carpets or celebrity events lately, she's still connected to an extremely influential network operating quietly behind the scenes. According to the report, this circle includes Oprah Winfrey, former Starbucks chair Melody Hobson, Bridgerton producer Shonda Rhimes, and Nicole Avant, who is married to Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos. The article paints them almost like a private power group quietly shaping Meghan's next moves away from public attention. And then comes the interesting wording. The piece reportedly says these women are not close friends in a social day-to-day sense, which instantly made people online speculate about whether these relationships are more business-driven than personal. Critics immediately jumped on that line, arguing it sounded more like strategic alliances than genuine friendships. The report also describes this elite Hollywood Montecito circle as constantly overlapping through private chats, messaging groups, and off-camera conversations. According to unnamed sources, the group allegedly stays in regular contact while discussing media projects, public image, and future opportunities. Whether that's fully accurate or not, the article definitely tried to make the network sound powerful, organized, and deeply connected. Several other big names were also pulled into the story, including Tyler Perry, Gayle King, and Meghan Markle's mother, Doria Ragland. Tyler Perry's inclusion especially caught attention online because he has faced public controversy in recent years, though no conclusion should be drawn simply from being mentioned in the same social circle. Meanwhile, Gayle King's connection didn't surprise many people, considering her longtime friendship with Oprah and previous public support for Meghan and Harry. What really stood out, though, was how heavily the article focused on race and Hollywood influence at the same time. Online reactions exploded almost immediately, with critics accusing the piece of trying too hard to frame Meghan's support system through identity politics rather than simply celebrity connections. Others defended the article, saying it was just highlighting the reality of powerful media relationships in Hollywood. Either way, the whole thing sparked another massive round of debate. The article keeps doubling down on the same theme, repeatedly pointing to famous black celebrities as Meghan Markle's biggest supporters. Tyler Perry gets mentioned again, even though there has been non-stop speculation online about whether he and Meghan are still as close as they once appeared. Gayle King is brought up too, which isn't exactly shocking considering her public support for Meghan and Harry over the years. And then, of course, Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, is included in the discussion as part of this inner support circle. What many readers immediately noticed was that every major supporter highlighted in the piece came from the same celebrity lane. Critics online started arguing that the article seemed intentionally framed around race and influence, while supporters pushed back and said it was simply reflecting Meghan's strongest public allies. Either way, the undertone became impossible for people to ignore, and social media wasted no time debating it from every angle. The unnamed source quoted in the story tried to make the relationship sound less personal and more strategic. The source reportedly said, "They are all incredibly busy. They are not sitting having brunch every week. But if one of them needs something advice, funding, a contact, they show up." That is how power works at that level. That line instantly fueled even more speculation about whether this is less about friendship and more about networking, influence, and mutual benefit inside elite Hollywood circles. Then the article takes another dramatic swing by claiming this group offers Meghan something far more valuable than an invitation to the Met Gala. And that's where readers really started rolling their eyes, because rumors about Meghan wanting a Met Gala invite have been floating around for years. Critics quickly pointed out the contradiction, saying there's no chance she would turn down one of Hollywood's biggest nights if the invitation actually came through. The wording also sparked backlash because the article described the Met Gala in a dismissive way, even though major stars like Anna Wintour, Nicole Kidman, and Venus Williams are deeply connected to the event. That part especially had people online laughing at how over-the-top the article sounded. And after all of that build-up, the piece ends the section with another mysterious tease, claiming this entire network is quietly united around the same major goal. That prize, according to the article, is Meghan Markle's autobiography, the project insiders believe could change everything if it finally sees the light of day. The article then drops what it presents as the biggest reveal of all Meghan Markle's rumored autobiography. It describes the project as something insiders say could become one of the biggest entertainment stories in the world, while also creating a massive public relations crisis for the royal family if deeply personal details are included. That's the angle the piece keeps pushing. The idea that this book could completely shake up royal headlines all over again, and then Oprah Winfrey's role gets pulled front and center once more. The article reminds readers how enormous the Oprah interview was globally, pulling in massive audiences across the United States, the UK, and beyond. Whether people loved it or hated it, there's no denying that interview became a huge cultural moment that still gets talked about years later. According to the report, Oprah and Meghan may not appear together publicly very often, but they allegedly remain close behind the scenes in Montecito. The article claims the two live only minutes apart and still meet privately on a regular basis. It even includes personal details, saying Oprah reportedly sends gifts to Meghan's children for holidays and birthdays, along with fruit from her own garden. The piece clearly tries to paint their relationship as ongoing, personal, and deeply connected, but the article doesn't stop there. It also claims Oprah has influence over Meghan and Harry's social connections and public appearances, including where they show up and who they mingle with. One example mentioned was Kris Jenner's birthday celebration last November, a star-packed James Bond-themed event held at Jeff Bezos' Beverly Hills mansion. According to the report, Oprah allegedly encouraged Meghan and Harry to attend so they could connect with major Hollywood and business figures, including Bezos himself. Then comes another twist. After the event, reports circulated that Meghan and Harry requested certain party photos posted online by Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner be removed. Public explanations reportedly pointed to concerns about timing around Remembrance Day in the UK. But the article hints there may have been additional reasons behind the scenes, adding even more mystery and gossip to the whole situation. The article then claims Meghan and Harry still want to present themselves as being above the celebrity fray, and that's where critics really started tearing into the story. People online immediately pointed out the contradiction if you're attending massive celebrity parties filled with cameras, influencers, and paparazzi outside. How can you also claim you want distance from Hollywood fame culture? That part of the article had readers completely stunned because the messaging just didn't seem to line up. The piece also revisits the reports about party photos allegedly being removed after the Kris Jenner event. Critics argued that if the Sussexes truly wanted privacy and distance from celebrity attention, they could simply avoid those events altogether. Instead, the situation ended up fueling even more headlines and gossip across social media and entertainment news. Then the article shifts to another high-profile event, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding celebration in Venice last year. According to the report, Meghan and Harry were invited but chose not to attend. The explanation given was that they supposedly wanted to avoid a media circus and didn't want people accusing them of showing up for attention or status. Supporters may see that as smart image management, but critics instantly questioned whether that was the real reason. Online reactions to that claim were especially brutal. A lot of people argued that avoiding the wedding didn't exactly stop media speculation anyway, since their absence became a story on its own. Others said the article sounded more like an attempt to reshape public perception after the fact rather than a genuine explanation of events. The commentary around Meghan's Hollywood ambitions also became more intense throughout this section. Critics accused the article of sounding overly defensive and unrealistic, while supporters argued Meghan has been unfairly judged no matter what she does. Either way, the piece kept pushing the idea that powerful celebrity allies are still trying to help manage her image behind the scenes, even as public skepticism continues to grow louder. The reaction to this article only gets more intense from here, because critics are openly questioning whether these powerful Hollywood figures are truly invested in Meghan Markle at all. A lot of commentators simply don't buy the idea that billionaires, media executives, and entertainment elites are personally stepping in to guide her career behind the scenes. To them, the whole thing sounds exaggerated and overly dramatic. Some critics argue that if Meghan really had that level of heavyweight support from influential insiders, her projects and public image would have looked much stronger from the very beginning. Their argument is that people with massive wealth, connections, and influence could easily help shape perception, boost visibility, or create opportunities that make someone appear unstoppable in Hollywood. That's why skeptics keep questioning why so many of Meghan's projects have struggled to land the way supporters expected. Nicole Avant's name also keeps coming up in these discussions. Rumors have circulated for years online about whether she genuinely likes Meghan or is simply maintaining a polite public relationship because of shared social circles and business connections. None of that has been confirmed publicly, of course, but the speculation continues to spread anytime their names are linked together. The conversation around race and celebrity loyalty also becomes impossible to ignore in this section of the article. Some critics claim there's pressure within elite social circles to avoid publicly criticizing or distancing from Meghan too aggressively, especially because any fallout could instantly become politicized online. Others strongly disagree with that interpretation and argue these relationships are far more nuanced than internet gossip makes them seem. Either way, the debate keeps getting louder every time a new article drops. What really stood out to many readers was how strongly the piece tried to frame Meghan as surrounded by influential women quietly helping guide her next chapter. Skeptics viewed the article as sounding more like image management than investigative reporting, while supporters argued it simply highlighted the reality of modern Hollywood networking and private influence. And then another major name enters the story, Mellody Hobson. The article describes her as one of Meghan's quieter but potentially most important connections. Hobson is the co-CEO of Ariel Investments, former Starbucks chair, and the wife of Star Wars creator George Lucas. She's known for operating at the intersection of finance, media, philanthropy, and elite influence circles, making her one of the most powerful figures mentioned in the entire piece. The article clearly wanted readers to believe Meghan still has access to serious power behind closed doors, even if that support isn't always visible publicly. Whether people believe that or not, the claims alone have already sparked another huge wave of controversy online. The article keeps building up Mellody Hobson as one of the key figures quietly connected to Meghan Markle's inner circle. At one point, a source reportedly says Hobson doesn't give her time to just anyone, emphasizing how selective she is about the people she associates with. The piece clearly tries to frame Hobson's connection to Meghan as a sign of credibility and influence within elite business and media spaces. Critics, though, instantly push back on that narrative. Online reactions questioned whether Hobson's reputation and business expertise have actually translated into major success for Meghan's ventures so far. Some commentators argued that if this level of high-powered guidance has truly been happening behind the scenes, people would expect stronger business results and fewer public setbacks surrounding Meghan's projects. The article also brings up Hobson's appearance on Meghan's Archetypes podcast back in 2022, presenting it as a rare public show of support. According to the report, Hobson allegedly gave Meghan private advice about ownership, intellectual property, and maintaining long-term control over media content and branding. That part especially fueled speculation that Meghan's future plans may be much more business-focused than people initially realized. Then the spotlight shifts to another entertainment powerhouse, Shonda Rhimes. The article describes Rhimes as one of the most influential names in television thanks to massive hits like Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton. More importantly, it suggests her influence inside Netflix still matters, even if Meghan and Harry's relationship with the streaming platform has reportedly cooled over time. The piece argues that support from someone like Rhimes isn't necessarily about public promotion, it's about positioning, access, and industry relationships behind the scenes. In Hollywood, those quiet alliances can sometimes matter more than flashy public appearances. Still, critics weren't convinced. Many pointed out that Meghan and Harry already had opportunities to build stronger partnerships within the entertainment world years ago. Some argued that if they had collaborated more closely with experienced producers and creative teams from the beginning, their Netflix projects might have landed more successfully. That's why skeptics see this sudden focus on Hollywood mentors and elite advisors as coming a little too late in the game. Even so, the article keeps pushing the same central idea. Despite the criticism, Meghan still allegedly has powerful names around her, helping shape what comes next. And judging by the online reaction, that claim alone has people fired up all over again. The article keeps insisting Meghan Markle still has powerful industry connections, but critics are arguing the timing may already be too late to fully shift public perception. The piece leans heavily on the idea that in Hollywood, access is everything, and according to the report, people like Shonda Rhimes still hold enormous influence behind the scenes. Dominique Hines points to Rhimes as a major gatekeeper in entertainment, emphasizing her importance within Netflix thanks to the success of massive shows like Bridgerton and Grey's Anatomy. And honestly, few people would disagree with that part. Rhimes has consistently delivered major streaming hits, making her one of Netflix's most valuable creative partners over the years. The article then tries to strengthen Meghan's alleged Hollywood network by connecting Rhimes to Nicole Avant. According to a producer quoted in the story, Rhimes and Avant are close, which the article frames as further proof of Meghan's ties to influential Netflix circles. But many readers weren't exactly shocked by that revelation. considering Rhimes operates at the highest level of entertainment and Avant already moves within those same elite social and business spaces. The piece also spends time highlighting Nicole Avant's credentials outside of her marriage to Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos. It notes that she's the daughter of legendary music executive Clarence Avant and previously served as the U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas. The article paints her as someone deeply connected across politics, entertainment, philanthropy, and media influence, not just Ted Sarandos' wife. Still, critics online immediately focused on the obvious Netflix connection. A lot of commentary centered around the idea that Meghan's relationships with figures tied to Netflix naturally attract extra scrutiny because of her and Harry's massive streaming deal. Some people argued the article went out of its way to avoid sounding transactional, carefully framing these relationships as authentic friendships and professional respect rather than strategic networking. Others pushed back against that interpretation, saying Hollywood is built on overlapping personal and business relationships, especially at that level of fame and influence. Either way, the article clearly wanted readers to believe Meghan still has access to powerful circles, even as critics continue questioning how much influence those connections actually translate into publicly. The article then pushes back hard against rumors that Nicole Avant and Meghan Markle are no longer close. According to the piece, reports about tension or distance between them are supposedly being exaggerated by outsiders. Critics immediately noticed the irony, though, because much of that speculation had already been fueled by reporting from the very same newspaper running this latest story. A Netflix insider quoted in the article reportedly dismissed the fallout rumors completely, saying the public narrative doesn't match what's happening behind the scenes. According to the source, Meghan and Avant are still in regular contact and continue moving within the same professional, social, and philanthropic circles. The article frames their relationship as steady and ongoing despite all the gossip swirling around Hollywood. The report also claims some insiders see the supposed falling out narrative as little more than internet noise that got blown out of proportion. One source even describes Avant as someone who has consistently advocated for Meghan behind the scenes, especially during periods when public criticism around Meghan and Harry intensified or business deals faced setbacks. That's where the article really leans into the idea of quiet Hollywood support systems. It paints Avant as a stabilizing figure who allegedly helped maintain important relationships during difficult moments for the Sussex brand. Critics, of course, immediately questioned how much influence one person could realistically have over major corporate decisions involving Netflix and high-value entertainment contracts. The article also gets surprisingly personal at times. A source familiar with their relationship reportedly described moments when Meghan felt overwhelmed by non-stop criticism, failed business partnerships, and constant negative headlines. According to the report, Avant was one of the people who stayed supportive during those stressful periods, offering advice and emotional backing behind closed doors. Naturally, online reactions exploded after those claims. Some readers saw the story as a carefully crafted attempt to repair Meghan's public image by emphasizing loyalty, friendship, and private support from influential figures. Others believed it simply highlighted how difficult life inside Hollywood and global media scrutiny can become, especially when every relationship gets dissected publicly. Either way, the article keeps hammering home the same message. Despite rumors, criticism, and setbacks, Meghan allegedly still has powerful allies quietly standing beside her, and that narrative alone continues fueling massive debate online. The article wraps up with another dramatic claim involving Meghan Markle and Nicole Avant at a Netflix-related gathering held on April 10th at the Montecito home of the Avant family. According to the report, the two women were seen embracing and holding hands during the event, with insiders allegedly describing it as a deliberate public display of unity amid all the rumors surrounding Meghan's Hollywood relationships. Of course, critics immediately saw the situation very differently. Online reactions accused the moment of looking overly staged and carefully managed for appearances. Some commentators argued the photos and interactions felt more like image repair than genuine spontaneity, especially considering the non-stop speculation surrounding Meghan's standing in Hollywood circles over the last year. The article then shifts back to Netflix and the ongoing questions surrounding Meghan and Harry's future with the streaming giant. It references the rumored Polo Focus project that has reportedly gone through multiple changes behind the scenes. While some insiders claim the concept has evolved into a more polished sports drama with broader appeal, skeptics remain unconvinced that the project will ever truly become a major success story. What's especially interesting is how strongly the article tries to frame Netflix as still invested in keeping the relationship alive, Sources claim the original underperforming documentary concept was reworked and reshaped in an effort to create something more commercially appealing. Critics, though, argue that if Netflix truly believed in the project, the company would already be heavily promoting it the same way it pushed breakout hits like Beef or other flagship shows. Then comes another major claim about Meghan's future ambitions behind the camera. According to the report, Meghan has reportedly been studying executive producing across multiple productions, learning more about content development, production strategy, and creative decision-making. The article says her focus now is less about starring on screen and more about shaping projects from behind the scenes. One source even claims she doesn't want to be on the poster, she wants to be in the writer's room. That line instantly sparked debate online. Supporters argued it shows Meghan is trying to reinvent herself as a serious producer and media figure, while critics questioned whether her past projects have shown enough success to justify that transition. And honestly, that's what makes this entire situation so fascinating to watch. Every new article seems to paint two completely different versions of Meghan Markle at the same time. One side sees a strategic media player quietly building powerful connections behind the scenes, while the other sees someone struggling to hold on to influence in an industry that moves fast and forgets even faster. Either way, the drama around Meghan, Netflix, Oprah, Hollywood insiders, and this rumored autobiography clearly isn't slowing down anytime soon. So what do you think? Is Meghan secretly planning a huge comeback behind the scenes? Or is Hollywood finally starting to move on from the Sussex brand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone following the royal drama, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update.